How Bruce Lee died?
They said it was a couple.
Yeah.
They said
Bruce Lee is universally recognized as the groundbreaking martial artist who transformed the global perception of Chinese martial arts. He was instrumental in embedding martial arts into mainstream cinema around the world.
What I'm still practicing now would lead to this
I know.
to begin with.
Yet, in 1973, just as his star was about to shine on a global scale, Bruce Lee passed away suddenly at the age of 32, leaving millions stunned. So what was it about Bruce's story that made his death seem so enigmatic? And what prompted his longtime friend, sparring partner, and fellow martial artist Chuck Norris, now 83, to finally share a long-kept truth? Let's explore the lesser-known story of Bruce Lee, the legend who left too soon. Born Lee Jun Fan on November 27, 1940 in San Francisco, California, Bruce came into the world during both the year and hour of the dragon, an auspicious start for someone destined for greatness. He was the fourth child in his family. His father, Lee Hoi Chuen, was a prominent Cantonese opera performer, while his mother, Grace Ho, had a mixed Chinese and German heritage. Although the family lived in Hong Kong, they were in San Francisco due to his father's opera tour through Chinatown. At the time of Bruce's birth, his father was performing in New York, so it was his mother who chose the name Bruce, a suggestion from her doctor, who believed a strong Anglo name might benefit the child later in life. Ironically, Bruce's father wasn't fond of the name and rarely used it while Bruce was growing up. Bruce entered the entertainment industry as a baby. At just 3 months old, he appeared in his first movie, Golden Gate Girl, as a stand-in for an American infant. By April 1941, the family had returned to Hong Kong, but their stability was short-lived. That December, Japan invaded Hong Kong, ushering in 4 years of wartime occupation. Despite the upheaval, Bruce continued acting. By age 9, he had already appeared alongside his father in 2 films, The Birth of Mankind, 1946, and The Kid, 1950. The latter marked Bruce's debut in a leading role, inspired by a comic book character of the same name. His parents insisted that acting must not interfere with his education. Bruce was enrolled at Tak Sun School and later attended LaSalle College, a Catholic institution. As he grew older, Bruce often played rebellious teens in films, a typecast that reflected some of his actual behavior. During his teenage years, Bruce got involved with a street gang and often found himself in fights. After one particularly violent encounter that left him injured, his parents decided he needed proper martial arts training. In 1953, a friend named William Cheung introduced him to the revered Wing Chun master Yip Man. Initially, Bruce was turned away due to a rule forbidding Chinese martial arts instruction to non-Chinese. His mixed-race background was the sticking point. However, Cheung persuaded Yip Man to reconsider, and Bruce was eventually accepted. Though he faced discrimination from fellow students, Bruce trained privately with Yip and alongside trusted peers like Cheung and Wang Shunlung. These sessions kept him out of further street trouble. Yip Man encouraged his students to enter official martial arts competitions as a constructive outlet. Around this period, Bruce also began struggling academically. In 1956, he transferred to St. Francis Xavier's College, where he met Brother Edward, the school's boxing coach. This marked Bruce's introduction to Western boxing. He took to it naturally. In 1958, Bruce won the Hong Kong School's boxing championship, defeating the reigning champ by knockout. His talents weren't limited to fighting. He also won a cha-cha dancing title and was known for his poetry and creative expression. Nevertheless, Bruce still found trouble. That same year, he fought on a rooftop in response to a challenge from students of the Choi Li Fut Martial Arts School. In another altercation, he knocked out a boy's tooth during a street fight, prompting the victim's parents to involve the police. Bruce's mother had to take legal responsibility for the incident. His father never found out. Concerned for his safety and future, Bruce's mother looked for a way to remove him from Hong Kong. With his U.S. citizenship in play and his school performance lacking, it was decided Bruce would move back to the States. At 18, he left for America. By that time, he had already been in nearly 20 Hong Kong films. Bruce landed in San Francisco in 1959, staying first with his sister Agnes and close family friends. A few months later, he relocated to Seattle, where he resumed his education. To support himself, he worked as a waiter at Ruby Chow's restaurant. Ruby was the wife of a family friend. It was during this time that Bruce began teaching martial arts on the side. He refined his personal interpretation of Wing Chun and named it Jun Fan Gung Fu. Among his first students were Jesse Glover, a judo practitioner, and Taki Kimura. Both men would become lifelong friends and disciples. Eventually, Bruce opened his first martial arts school in Seattle, called the Lee Jun Fan Gung Fu Institute. After completing high school, Bruce earned his diploma from Edison Technical School. By 1961, he had enrolled at the University of Washington, studying drama while also taking courses in philosophy and psychology, subjects that deeply influenced his martial arts philosophy. 3 years into his university journey, Bruce left school and moved to Oakland. There, he lived with James Yim Lee, a respected martial artist who had made a name for himself in California. Together, they launched another Jun Fan martial arts studio in Oakland. It was also during this period that Bruce met and later married Linda Emery. As his influence expanded, Bruce opened more schools, including one in Los Angeles. It was James who introduced him to Ed Parker, a prominent American martial artist, an introduction that would change the course of Bruce's life. In 1964, Bruce Lee took center stage at the Long Beach International Karate Championships, thanks to an invitation from Ed Parker. His demonstration was nothing short of legendary. First, he amazed the crowd with fingertip push-ups, balancing only on his thumb and index finger. Then came the now iconic one-inch punch, a technique so powerful that it sent Bob Baker flying backward. Baker later admitted the blow was so intense, he had to take time off work due to severe chest pain. That same day also marked a pivotal first meeting between Bruce and Chuck Norris. Norris had just secured a tournament win when Bruce waved him over. The two quickly connected, talking for nearly 9 hours straight. They bonded over martial arts philosophy, despite their differing styles. That encounter sparked a lasting friendship. Over the next 2 years, Chuck trained under Bruce and would later say it was he who encouraged Bruce to incorporate high kicks into his repertoire, moves that would become signature elements in Bruce's films. Still, not everyone was taken by Bruce's confidence. His unapologetic attitude and strong opinions occasionally stirred tension in the martial arts community. One notable instance involved Wong Jack Man, a respected practitioner of Xing Yi Quan, Tai Chi, and Northern Shaolin, traditional Chinese disciplines with deep cultural roots. That same year, controversy erupted in Oakland's Chinatown. Community elders were upset that Bruce was teaching Chinese martial arts to non-Chinese students and demanded he stop. Bruce refused. To resolve the dispute, he proposed a challenge, a private fight with Wong. If Bruce lost, he would shut down his school. If he won, he would continue teaching freely, without interference. Wong, however, told a different story. According to him, the fight wasn't about racial boundaries, but about Bruce's boastful claim at a local theater that no one in San Francisco could beat him. Wong said he never agreed to Bruce's terms and held no prejudice against non-Chinese students. Bruce, on the other hand, dismissed the so-called list of disapproving Chinatown sifus, suggesting Wong wasn't being entirely truthful. The match took place privately, witnessed by only 3 people: Linda Cadwell, Bruce's fiancée at the time, James Lee, and Tai Chi instructor William Chen. Accounts of the fight varied. Wong and Chen claimed it lasted 20 to 30 minutes, and that Bruce initiated the match by pretending to offer a handshake, then striking Wong in the eyes. Wong also accused Bruce of fighting with lethal intent and claimed he had an opportunity to kill Bruce but chose restraint to avoid legal consequences. Bruce's camp told a different version. Linda and James insisted the entire fight lasted just 3 minutes. In their account, Bruce quickly overpowered Wong, forcing him to the ground and asking, "Do you give up?" To which Wong replied yes. In a later interview, Bruce vaguely referenced his victory without naming Wong. Wong, knowing he was the unnamed opponent, published his side of the story in a Chinese-language newspaper, Pacific Weekly. He even challenged Bruce to a public rematch to clear the air, but Bruce never responded, likely because he had already won what mattered most to him, the right to teach anyone he wished. While martial arts remained his passion, Bruce also longed to return to acting. That opportunity surfaced again, ironically, thanks to another martial arts exhibition. Television producer William Dozier had seen Bruce's demonstration at Long Beach and offered him a screen test for a new show titled Number One Son, a spin-off concept centered around Charlie Chan's son. Although the pilot never aired, that same year Bruce celebrated a personal high point, the birth of his son, Brandon, in 1965. Later, Dozier cast Bruce as Kato in The Green Hornet, a television series adapted from a popular radio show. Initially, the directors pushed Bruce to use conventional American-style fighting on screen. Bruce resisted. He insisted on staying true to his martial arts roots and proved his point with action. His movements were so fast that the film crew struggled to capture them on camera, eventually asking him to slow down for the sake of visibility. The Green Hornet became the first American TV series to feature authentic Chinese martial arts. Airing from September 1966 to March 1967, the show ran for 26 episodes and introduced audiences to a style of fighting they'd never seen before. Bruce also reprised his role as Kato in 3 crossover episodes of Batman, which shared the same producer, Dozier. These appearances marked Bruce's successful return to American television and laid the foundation for what would soon become his meteoric rise. Back on American soil, having lived abroad since infancy, Bruce began forming deep connections with others in the industry. One of the most important was stuntman Gene LaBelle. The two trained together regularly, sharing techniques and philosophies from their respective disciplines. After The Green Hornet ended in 1967, Bruce wrote a heartfelt letter to William Dozier, thanking him for giving him his Hollywood star. That same year, he and Linda welcomed their second child, Shannon, further cementing a year of both personal and professional milestones. Yet, the fight with Wong Jack Man had left Bruce deeply reflective. He believed the bout had lasted longer than it should have, not due to his skill level, but because Wing Chun techniques weren't cutting it in real-world combat. He realized that traditional martial arts were too bound by form, too rigid for the kind of speed and adaptability street fights demanded. Determined to evolve, Bruce began creating his own system, one built on freedom of movement, efficiency, and practicality. He added running for endurance, stretching for flexibility, weight training for strength, and even drew from boxing and fencing to enhance his timing and footwork. What began as Junfan Gung Fu gradually transformed into Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. But even that name felt limiting to Bruce. He saw Jeet Kune Do not as a style, but as a philosophy, one that broke down barriers, discarded dogma, and emphasized personal expression over tradition. To him, naming it was merely a convenience. In truth, his real art had no name, no boundaries, only what worked. During this period, Bruce Lee began collaborating on a film called The Silent Flute, teaming up with 2 of his martial arts students, screenwriter Sterling Siliphant and actor James Coburn. In 1969, the trio ventured to India, hoping to shoot the movie. Despite their efforts, the project ultimately fell apart. Interestingly, the script would later be repurposed for the 1978 film Circle of Iron, which starred David Carradine. Undeterred by the setback, Bruce kept working steadily in small roles. That same year, he took on a minor part as a henchman in Marlowe, a film penned by Silliphant and led by James Garner as the iconic detective. He also served as the karate advisor for The Wrecking Crew, the fourth installment in the Matt Helms spy spoof series featuring Dean Martin. Around this time, Bruce also popped up in guest spots on TV series like Here Come the Brides and Blondie. In 1970, Bruce shifted behind the scenes as the fight choreographer for A Walk in the Spring Rain, written by Silliphant, and starring screen greats Ingrid Bergman and Anthony Quinn. The following year, he reunited with Silliphant on the TV series Longstreet, appearing in 4 episodes as martial arts instructor Lee Tsung, a mentor to the show's protagonist, Mike Longstreet, played by James Franciscus. What made Longstreet especially significant to Bruce was that it allowed him to infuse the show's dialogue with his own martial arts philosophy. Inspired by that creative freedom, he pitched a show of his own called The Warrior. Warner Brothers confirmed conversations had taken place, but Bruce claimed that both Warner and Paramount wanted to set the series in modern times, watering down his original vision of a historical Western centered on an Asian protagonist. Speculation has long swirled, backed by accounts from Bruce's wife, Linda Cadwell, that his idea was reworked without credit into the series Kung Fu. Warner Brothers, however, maintained that the concept was independently created by writer Ed Spielman and producer Howard Friedlander. In 1969, Bruce narrowly missed another major opportunity, the lead role of a Shaolin monk in a Western-themed show, which ultimately went to David Carradine, who had no martial arts background. Bruce spoke openly about the decision, saying, "From a business perspective, I understand their concerns. If the situation were reversed, if an American came to Hong Kong looking for a lead role, I might hesitate too." Though he tried to remain diplomatic, it was clear Bruce was frustrated. Hollywood seemed unwilling to give him a meaningful lead role. Encouraged by friends like producer Fred Weintraub, Bruce decided it was time to take matters into his own hands. He confided in Chuck Norris that he was heading back to Hong Kong to make a film that could open doors in the U.S. market. When Bruce arrived in Hong Kong, he was stunned to find that he was already a star. The Green Hornet had aired there under the title The Kato Show, and his performance had captivated audiences. Sensing an opportunity, Bruce signed a 2-film contract with Golden Harvest. His first leading role came in The Big Boss, which became a massive hit across Asia and catapulted him to stardom. He followed up with Fist of Fury in 1972, which shattered box office records set by his previous film. With his contract fulfilled, Bruce founded his own company, Concord Production Incorporated, giving him complete creative control over future projects. Through Concord, Bruce wrote, directed, starred in, and choreographed The Way of the Dragon. For the film's climactic battle, he invited Chuck Norris to play the villain, a part originally offered to karate champ Joe Louis. When Chuck asked who would win the on-screen duel, Bruce smirked and said, "I'm the star." It was a light-hearted moment, but Bruce had previously remarked that sparring with top fighters like Louis, Mike Stone, and Chuck Norris felt like child's play to him. The nearly 10-minute fight scene between Bruce and Chuck in The Way of the Dragon is now considered one of the most iconic in martial arts cinema. Chuck later reflected, "Working with Bruce was an incredible experience. It's an honor to be part of what many still call the greatest martial arts fight scene ever filmed." Fist of Fury had earned a staggering $100 million, but The Way of the Dragon surpassed it, raking in $130 million globally. By the end of 1972, Bruce had begun filming Game of Death, a project he was producing through Concord. He cast his former student and NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to showcase a diverse and evolving fight sequence. But production came to a halt when Warner Brothers offered Bruce the lead in Enter the Dragon. That film became Bruce's breakout hit in the West, propelling him to international superstardom. Tragically, Bruce passed away just 6 days before the film's release on July 26, 1973. He was only 32. On May 10th of that year, Bruce collapsed at Golden Harvest Studios. He was rushed to Hong Kong Baptist Hospital, where doctors diagnosed cerebral edema, swelling of the brain. After treatment with mannitol, he appeared to recover and returned to work shortly after. According to Linda, Bruce met with producer Raymond Chow at 2 p.m. one day to discuss Game of Death. Afterward, he visited actress Betty Ting Pei. That evening, Bruce complained of a minor headache. Betty gave him Aquagesic, a painkiller containing aspirin and a tranquilizer called meprobamate. Around 7:30 p.m., he lay down to rest and never woke up. When Bruce didn't show up for dinner, Raymond went to check on him and found him unresponsive. Despite immediate medical attention, Bruce was declared dead on arrival at Queen Elizabeth Hospital. An autopsy showed no external trauma, but his brain had swelled from 1,400 to 1,575 grams, a 13% increase. The only substance in his system was the painkiller. His death was officially ruled death by misadventure. Bruce was laid to rest at Lakeview Cemetery in Seattle, Washington. Chuck Norris, heartbroken over his friend's passing, remained close to Bruce's family. When Linda returned to the United States with their children, she settled near Chuck, who stepped in to offer his support. He became a comforting figure to Bruce's son, Brandon, and frequently spoke about Bruce's unmatched talent and vision. Years later, as rumors swirl suggesting Bruce had used performance-enhancing drugs, Chuck, then 83, came forward to defend his late friend. He explained that Bruce had once seriously injured his back while lifting weights, leading to a 3-week hospital stay. Doctors feared Bruce might never walk again. But with relentless determination, Bruce recovered in just 3 months, though he endured chronic pain ever after. Chuck revealed that Bruce had been prescribed long-term medication for his back, and it was likely that a reaction between that drug and Aquagesic caused the fatal brain swelling, what doctors term acute cerebral edema. Though speculation about his death continues, one truth stands firm. Bruce Lee forever changed the world of martial arts and film. Enter the Dragon would go on to gross more than $200 million, solidifying his status as an icon, one whose influence continues to resonate around the globe.